3-0 to Newcastle United at home. Two back-to-back 3-0 losses for Manchester United at the Theatre of Dreams. Old Trafford is falling. Manchester United is falling. Could this be the last nail in the coffin of Erik Ten Hag? Listen, trouble, trouble, trouble. Should he be sacked? Guys, this is a disaster. Welcome to the hotspot, the match reaction for our loss against Newcastle United. As we bowed out of the Carabao Cup to the same team we beat in the final. What a bad time to be a Manchester United supporter. Listen, Man United, guys, is in big trouble. Leave alone just losing. Losing to Newcastle, like I told you, was never going to be a shock or a surprise to anyone. But the lack of performance, the lack of character from Manchester United is alarming. Erik Ten Hag made the changes. He started most of the would-be senior players on the bench. The youngsters were given a chance. They had their moments. In fact, if you ask me, compare this game to many other games we've played, they tried to make sense of what the running around they were making. Not that they were playing football per se. They were running around a lot, and you see in the heat map there, the attack map, the attack momentum of Manchester United looked a little better than Newcastle United. But as always, United are never effective. We dominated possession. We had more shots on goal, but we are never effective. And here we are again, losing 3-0 to Newcastle United at Old Trafford. Manchester United is losing the fear factor completely. Erik Ten Hag is taking it out of United. And if we are losing games for fun at Old Trafford like this, then guys, I think even those of us who have been trying to defend Erik Ten Hag will run out of words to describe the potential that he still has. We cannot describe it. Guys, it's this terrible. Players are playing with no conviction. They are playing with no confidence at all. They are playing with no desire. I've said it before. Probably Erik Ten Hag has lost this dressing room, but we are just failing to appreciate it and talk about it. Because if players of Manchester United cannot fight at all, there was no fight at all from this team. Not at all from this team. Certainly, it shows you that they are not willing to die a little for the badge, or at worst, for the manager. So what exactly is going to happen? Should Erik Ten Hag be sacked? You think about that game, and I will not go into the details of how certain players were doing a lot of nothing, of how clueless, the poor defending, poor marking, all the goals that were scored were down to poor marking and lack of concentration. You would think this was Sunday night football. You would think this was Sunday football. There was no professionalism at all in terms of concentration of Man United players. The goals we considered were goals you are feeling. I mean, at that level, you're earning hundreds of £1,000 per week to play for a club like Manchester United. You cannot be conceding certain goals, because for me, I thought it went down to the lack of focus, the lack of concentration. I think for me, for United players, the problem is in their heads. Same with Erik Ten Hag. That's why he's always making substitutions you can't explain. The problem is in their heads. You would clearly see players who are playing but not playing. They are playing but thinking about what the fans are thinking of them. Think about what is going to happen after the loss. Thinking about whether they are going to lose this game as well. They are not concentrating on the football clearly. They look, to be honest, worse than they really might be. So for me, I think this is a project in shambles. This is a project that for me is beyond salvaging, because you don't see what United is playing. There is nowhere we are headed. There is no direction we are headed. We can blame the players clearly, even with different players. 7 changes made to the team that lost to Manchester City. 7 changes were made by Erik Ten Hag. Same result. What does it show you? It shows you probably the problem is not entirely the players. Maybe they don't know what they are playing. Now, for me, that's a huge problem, because Manchester United has got to play with clarity. We've got to play with distinction, because that's who we are. That's what a big club does. You've got an identity. You're clear on how you want to win games. You're clear on how you want to approach games. Erik Ten Hag is clearly clueless about how he wants to play games and approach them. Again, coming off the blocks early in 30 minutes, not changing game plan. It's not working, and you see him wobbling with his substitutions. Man, it is bad. It is bad, too bad, Michael Jackson. It's bad like that. It's bad for Erik Ten Hag, and I will listen now to people calling for his head because, to be honest, I've completely lost the faith. Who knows what is going to happen this weekend against Fulham? We lose against Fulham, guys. This guy should be packing his bags immediately. For me, and I know we've been here. I know we've sacked managers and and changed and but I mean, we are not going to be afraid of sacking another manager if he's going to lead us uh, uh, into relegation. Because with this football, by the way, how do you explain to sponsors that they should stay with the kind of football we are playing, leave alone the results? Football is not about the results, it's about the performances, because you come into a game knowing that not both of you can win, but the performances, at least you may not be able to control the result, but you can control the performance you put on. Manchester United has not shown any clear performance at all this season, and that's all on Erik Ten Hag. I love that he came out of the game and he's saying he's taking the blame, he's taking the weight of it. He should take it, but he should do something about it. Most importantly, I do wonder what these players do in training. Is it the players not responding to his instructions? Are the players disorganizing? I mean, guys, we don't love the Glazers, we hate them, but look, we cannot blame everything on the Glazers. We cannot just keep blaming everything on the Glazers. I mean, what is this? What is this? Terrible football, another loss at Old Trafford against a second choice squad of Newcastle United. In fact, I think our squad was more first team than Newcastle's. They made several changes to their team, knowing they've got the Champions League, but also Arsenal in mind. But they still comfortably apply themselves and beat us. Now, for me, forget about the cast, forget about the Glazers, forget about individual players because you won't blame all individuals. I think it all goes now to the manager and his technical team. They have failed to make these players react. To be honest, our players cannot be as bad as this. We cannot be as bad as failing to put on a decent performance against a second string Newcastle United. It's we are not bad like that. We might blame them, but they are not bad like that. Certainly, the manager has got a huge amount of blame to take. He has got to take the flag thrown at his way. The Newcastle United were even chanting in the stands and singing and talking about how Old Trafford is falling in and all. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. How on earth does Erik Ten Hag salvage this situation? I don't see it. I feel it is beyond repair. Even for him, it should be frustrating. It should be tiring. I think he will leave before he's sacked. I don't think Man United are going to come out openly and say we've sacked Erik Ten Hag. But I think they will talk to him and tell him, you know what, the honorable thing to do for you as a top manager, you want to leave with your head high. The honorable thing to you, for you to do is throw in the towel, just resign. For me, I think Erik Ten Hag might resign soon, more sooner than later. So whether you like him being sacked or not, and guys, like I've said, managers need time, but you see, you have to earn the time. Earning the time is not you just getting the contract and you'll be beaten game in, game out, and you're saying, give him time, it will change. We give you time based on the progress we see. To be honest, what can you base on to give Erik Ten Hag time at Man United now? Where is the progress? Where is the progress? Other managers, Postecoglou has come in at Spurs for a far less period than Erik Ten Hag, and is performing. Spurs is performing. Talk about other clubs. Chelsea is beaten, but I actually see progress in Chelsea, big progress in Chelsea than Man United. But they are being beaten. I think we are ahead of them in the Premier League. They are losing games, but there is progress in Chelsea than in Man United in terms of how they play, in terms of what you see Pochettino is trying to do with this team. There is progress. Look at what Aston Villa is doing with Unai Emery. Now, Erik Ten Hag has been here for more than one season. We are not progressing. If anything, we are regressing. So, how much more damage do we want to see before we make a reaction, before we respond? We are Manchester United. This man will lead us into extinction, guys. It's that bad. So it's high time We made decisions. It's high time we triggered decisions because, to be honest, we are becoming the laughing stock of town. We are becoming the easiest team to beat in our den at Old Trafford, the Theatre of Dreams. It has lost its fear factor completely because of having a manager who has failed to properly guide these players in a direction that we should be taking. It's terrible, it's painful, it's worrying, it's disgusting, and something has got to be done about it. Forget about the takeover. There's talk of course, Ineos also pulling out of the takeover because of what's going on and all. Guys, forget about all that. Focus on the manager and the performance we see in each game. Fulham, for me, is going to be the last test. Fulham, for me, if we don't obliterate Fulham, even if we beat them by 2 goals to nil, but if our performance is not convincing, if it is a jumbled up victory like we did against Sheffield United, a team we should have disposed of for fun, I, for me, will come back here and I will be the first to call for the head of Erik Ten Hag. Terrible performance from United, again, on another day, and the story goes on and on and on. And how much longer shall we be scared to make decisions? We are Manchester United. Big clubs don't have a lot of time. We are supposed to behave like a big club. And for me, I'm waiting to see the reaction from both the team but also management after the Fulham game, depending on how it goes. And I don't think anything magical is going to happen over the weekend against Fulham. I don't think magic is going to happen. These are the same players. Even when he has changed bodies, it's not working. Clearly, the problem is beyond just the players. It is a problem deeply engraved into the players, into the team. It is a deep, deep problem we've got, and it all starts with the manager. If we don't work on our patterns, how we train these players, are they poorly managed? Are they? I need a journalist who has got access to Old Trafford and these trainings to just look, scrutinize, try to compare and see what the problem is. A player's tired. Does he overwork them? Do they play under pressure? Does he, you know, manage them poorly? Are they not playing for him? What's happening? They cannot do the basics of football right. It is wrong. We look ugly. It looks ugly on us as Man United. It cannot be happening. So that's where we are, guys. Hate that your morning is starting on such a sad note. But if I am to go into the player ratings, guys, I think I'll be so mean on players. I will not rate individual players for this one. Not at all. I'll just stick to the manager and rate him. Out of 10, Erik Ten Hag will get a proper 2 out of 10 from that game for me. 2 out of 10. So, is the problem the players? Maybe, but significantly, the problem is the boss. Let me know what you think. Hotspot, subscribe. My name is Webb. I'll catch you later, fam.